Fort Snelling National Cemetery was busy this morning with the celebration of Memorial Day. Governor Tim Walz was in attendance to remember those who have served. Here's more from the ceremony.
To our Minnesota service members and military families, thank you. You are part of this proud tradition in our state of men and women who have served with honor, bravery, dignity, and humility. And when you are in a place like this, you can't help but feel the gravity of the sacrifices made by our brave service members, past and present, who were willing to lay everything down in the line of our freedom. So as many of you know, the last years, I've attended this ceremony every year since being a senator, but the last few years were even more meaningful to me after my dad was buried here, and he served during the Korean War. He was stationed in Germany, assigned to write anti-communist material to support America's efforts in the Cold War. But just as many of you are here not only for your own loved ones, but also for those that are buried here who may not have family members here today, I decided to look at some of those that surrounded my dad where he is buried. And one of them, you know, my dad was a sports reporter, so maybe it's fitting, maybe it's just a chance, but he actually, right near him, is the gravestone of Bob Williams, who was a star player for the Lakers, served in the Korean War in the Air Force, and was actually the first black player to play for the Lakers and made history when he joined that team. My dad's grave is also adjacent to the graves of three courageous men who took up arms to make sure that democracy would triumph in World War II. Private Charles Leslie Conan, Private First Class Charles William Nelson, and First Lieutenant Archie Stein. Of them, only Private Conan returned to see the end of the war. The other two was killed in war. They died not knowing if the Allies would defeat tyranny, without the knowledge that through their sacrifice they helped ensure and protect our freedom and our future, and where America is still America. We get to live in that future right now because of their sacrifice. It is a responsibility we must all take seriously to remember the defenders of freedom. In Minnesota, we have so many examples of our neighbors, when called upon, lifting up those memories. I think about the family that owned a farm, and on that farm was a horrific tragedy when the helicopter crashed down of our Minnesota Army National Guard members. Sergeant Court Plattenberg, Chief Warrant Officer Charles Nord, and Chief Warrant Officer James Rogers, Jr. That was in 2019. And when that happened, without hesitation, that family raised a flag in their farm field. And it is now a beautiful monument that many of us have visited. Last year, knowing that the local communities where these men were from also yearned to honor them, we worked on a bipartisan basis, Senator Smith, Representative Tom Emmer, and Representative Michelle Fischbach, to rename their post offices in Avon, Perham, and Winstead after these three men.
You can't drive through these gates without feel the sense of presence that's here. You're going to hear some words from Lieutenant Commander Peterson that's going to reflect on those trials and the struggles and what's learned as this nation defends freedom. And I think today, on what might be the nicest day of summer, there are millions of people right now out boating, out getting ready to cook out, children running and playing, swimming, golfing, whatever they choose to do. It is an incredibly precious gift to live as the freest people and to do as we choose. I don't begrudge that they're doing that. That is a gift that was given by those that lay here. A gift that is unimaginable in most parts of the world. But you did something different before you went to do all that stuff, and I certainly hope you go do it on such a beautiful day. But you chose to come here, and you walked through those gates. It may be because a family member lies here, and to those families, our deepest thanks and our deepest gratitude. It may be that you were brought here by a parent, and those parents who brought young people, thank you. It is a profound act of commitment to our democracy and to those who made it, to ask a little one to get ready and come out and sit in the heat and listen to people talk. But you know it's a lot more than that, because it's that parent's gentle hand that tells them what those stones mean. It's a parent's gentle hand that might have explained what that plane was that came over and what it did for democracy. And I think, as you do, there are a few moments during the year where we're more present and more engaged than when you walk in the gates of Fort Snelling on Memorial Day. This is truly a national holiday, but at the heart of it, it's the most profoundly individual of times. I walk through that gate and I have that deep sense of reverence. I have those feelings that I can't imagine the numbers. And then as you sit here and you're thinking to yourselves, whether it's family member, friends, or others, you can't help but think, what would have happened in those lives had they not died at 19? What is the fullness of that life as you think about your friends, my friend Jim Klobuchar, and what they accomplished after coming back? The one thing I notice always, and I hope it and I believe it's true, it's hard to not find unity in this space. It's hard to not find a common thread of common ground. And in a world that really seems to work hard to divide us, this place brings us back together. And I know the stories don't get told because it's the plane that crashes that makes the newspaper, not the ones that land. And so I think there was a story this year amongst tumultuous, I've heard historic, I've heard others say horrible. However you view a legislative session, there was a story in there that didn't get told that has profoundly changed how we do things in Minnesota. It was decided by veterans groups, the Commander's Task Force. We all got together and strategized before the last legislative session. And we said, let's make a pact that we never allow veterans or military issues to be debated with all the other things. Let's don't put them in a big group of things, plug our nose and vote for the veterans. Let's do something profound. Let's pull them out of that. Let's have them stand on their merit, and let's have them vote. Guess what happens when you do that? Guess what happens? Everybody gets heard, and the bills pass unanimously. We have funding for 3 new veterans homes: Montevideo, Bemidji, and Preston. Communities that will be forever taking care of our warriors. We've added another veteran cemetery where we will care for our dead. We funded the things around veterans homelessness and veterans suicides. And we made sure, as Director Kelly and his team do at the VA, that they receive, and they do, the best medical care of anywhere in the world.